Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Q&A event with BoMill. The topic today is a general market update, and with me today I have the CEO from BoMill, Andreas Jeppsson. Before we start, just a couple of practical issues. All attendees are more than welcome to post your questions. And you do that under the video screen where you see Andreas and me. Then I will forward the questions to Andreas, but first we start up with a short introduction. So with that said, welcome Andreas, and please give us a small update on who is BoMill.
Good morning, good to be here. First of all, what we are doing is that we are working on advanced grain sorting technology. So what we are doing is that we are upgrading the grains of our customer for better profit and for improved quality. So all in all, it's about increasing the value of a grain of a customer, and with a very, I would say, fantastic return of investment on the equipment that they are buying from us.
Yeah, you actually have a very good tagline. There's more to grains. So with this short introduction, Andreas, you recently carried out a share issue. Could you please update us on the share issue and also what you're going to use the proceeds to?
Yeah, it was finalized here in the beginning of May. So we were capitalized with 21.9 million Swedish to be exact, with a very good result. And it will be, as we launched our new machine, BoMill Insight, in the beginning of the year, this will be for our commercialization of that equipment or that solution. So it will be very much used for sales activities and various market activities for the year to come here. Yeah, and so that is very much the focus. And we have a very clear plan how we are taking it to market from here.
Yeah, and could you please elaborate a little on that, because you've been working hard for the last couple of years, but especially the last 6 months after you introduced Insight to the market. But you have a very clear strategy about what you want and what you don't want, because it's a huge market that you access.
Yeah, you're right. And there are a lot of opportunities in the grain business, and there is a lot of things that we will potentially can do and will do eventually with our equipment, with our technology. But still, it's very important that at this stage during the commercialization, getting out the first machines, that we are very focused in how we are taking the new machine and the technology to market. So we cannot, it's tempting. We get questions from a lot of different industry in a lot of different areas of the world and a lot of different applications that we need to say, okay, we are keeping our focus. And that is basically the European market and North American and Latin American markets. That's where we are keeping the focus. And we're restricting it to barley and to wheat. So for now, we don't do any other grains than barley and wheat. And this is a huge market. So it's not really a limiting factor, but it will be very distracting if we are going on too many applications.
Of course, yeah, wheat is probably the biggest grain market in the world, yeah.
Yeah, just after corn. But it's huge quantities. And it's the same here. We also have a very focused in what segments we are approaching. So currently we are going for the flour milling market, and we are going for the malting market, basically malt house market. And that is basically for beer production, where you're using beer for doing the malting, and eventually it's coming into the beer that we are drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. And so in the US market, you have been busy the last 6 months. I know that. And you attended an interesting trade show early on this year for the flour milling industry. What are the takeaways you get from clients you meet there, or potential clients?
First of all, it's important to mention that we're approaching or working with the US market in partnership with our distributor. So we have a distributor in the US market named Bratney. and they have been in the business for a very long time, 40 years, and they are already working with different type of equipment, but not the same type as BoMill, given because to be honest, we really don't have any clear competitor. But they are working in the industry. They have a very strong network. So they had a booth at the trade show up in Minneapolis in Minnesota, where we actually had the new BoMill Insight for exhibition. So we were showing it actually for the very first time we were exhibiting it. So it was in a flour milling show. There's an annual flour milling show in the US, and this was this IAOM. This is name. So it's flour milling professionals that is visiting it.
And with your partner in Minneapolis, you put up a test center, or so clients.
The show was in Minneapolis. Bratney, they are located in Des Moines in Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the Midwest area, still 3-4 hours south of Minneapolis, to be exact.
Good, but you. So as you mentioned before, you put up a test center with your partner there.
Yeah, they have a machine. So that same machine that we had for the exhibiting in this trade show, that machine has now been relocated to the workshop of Bratney. So it is ready now and we're already as we speak, basically. They are doing a lot of test sortings for prospect customers in US market.
And this test machine, is it all 8 modules or is it just a single module?
It will be with one module, so it will be with a 2 ton per hour capacity. But still, as the machine has its designed, it is very easy to upgrade it. So I mean, if there is a customer that would like to have a machine in a short notice, we can actually deliver that machine to the customer, and then we can upgrade it afterwards with more modules or sorting units, up to 8 units.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the strengths about your Insight system that is modularized. There's a small question here. There's a question here just when we talk about the Insight module, about the capacity and the math. You mentioned early on that with all 8 modules, you're able to deliver 15 tons. And this Alexander asked about, well, if you put the math together, it should be 16 tons. Just very briefly, Andreas, could you comment on that?
Yeah, it's grains that we're talking about, and it's the industry standard for equipment like this is 15 tons. That's why we have said it's 15 tons capacity, but that is on the lower side. And also when we are saying 2 tons per unit, this is an average, because in the end it depends on the weight of the kernels. So actually when we are making the agreements more in detail with the customer, we are actually referring to the weight, how much is the weight of 1,000 kernels. Yeah. So that's how we are actually defining the capacity more formally. But in average, we are talking about 15 tons with a fully equipped machine.
Good. Thanks for answering that question. And what is your production capacity in terms of delivering these modules, Andreas? So if you hopefully get a lot of new clients on board, from the client order the module, whether it's 1 or 8, and until you can deliver, could you elaborate a little on that?
So our lead time is within 3 months delivery time. But of course, we are using a lot of suppliers, local suppliers, when it comes to the mechanical equipment, and when it comes to some electronic equipment and so on, it's very often multinational companies. I can say that there is not really a bottleneck on the supplier side in order to deliver us the required material or required components. We are, after all, in an area here where we have a lot of industry like ours. There's quite a few suppliers that could help us to make sure that we can keep this lead time. So this is not really a concern.
No.
Yeah. Very often, take for example, when we're delivering to a market like the US, Bratney has their own engineers that will be able, after being trained by us, be able to install them as well. And there is also not really a capacity hurdle there. So I'm not concerned when it comes to the capacity. We will be able to deliver a lot of machines during the coming years.
That sounds really good. And there's a question here coming in, if we should just stay on the topic. about the market size. And of course, as you mentioned in the beginning, the market is huge. And even though you narrow it down to barley and wheat, is still huge. But so in that sense, it's very big numbers. But could you try to narrow it down in terms of clients? What size are they looking for? This is a new technology. You are breaking ground on a very existing market with a new technology. That's normally.
In the focus segments, focus markets that we are looking at, we are talking about hundreds of machines easily.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, good.
Yeah, easily. And then we are not talking about all the opportunities that is in different applications, that is in different markets around the world, that's outside of Europe and Americas. I mean, the whole Asia, for example.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there is huge opportunities. And as I said, this is only the beginning.
Yeah, this is early days. And you mentioned this for me before, but maybe you could update us on that, because a typical client, and we get back to the good contracts you already received, a typical client probably have an existing system sorting grains. And then to learn about your system, you mentioned for me before, maybe they take in one module, test it out, maybe use it as spare capacity, stuff like that. Is that what you see in the market, the way the clients want to work around this, or are they ready to take a big order?
I would say the boring answer to that one, it actually depends.
Good.
But you can say, if we look at the customers that we have already signed with,
yes,
I mean, when we should keep in mind that we actually launched the machine in the end of January. Yeah. And already now we have several contracts, agreements on the machine, where 2 of them actually is under installation as we speak now.
Good.
So one of them will be for GoodMills Group. That's the largest flour mill producer in Europe. They have 24 plants located in 7 different countries around Europe. And they will they are installing one of the machines at the plant in Hamburg. So it's pretty close to here.
Yeah.
And that will be with 2 units, so with a capacity of around 4 tons an hour.
Okay, interesting.
So that will, of course, I mean, the ambition from us and from the customer is that this will be the first step to something that will be much bigger.
Of course. And that's a good way of working around it. So you can go alongside the client. Yeah,
exactly. So it's about, I mean, when we're doing this, I mean, this is process industry. This is in industry. It's pretty long sales cycles. We are talking about normally at least 6 months from first contact until you have an order. But very often, the bigger the company is, the longer the sales process takes. So, I mean, it can take up to 18, in some cases, even 24 months before you actually are able to close the deal or have an agreement in place.
Yeah, and we look into the client, the order you received from the Danish client, you received that before you launched the Inside, actually.
Yeah. And that's really an interesting. All these cases, I mean, when we were setting the plan how to commercialize this equipment, and that we of course did already before it was finally developed. I mean, that's how it's done. It's part of the launching plan. So when we did that more than 1 year ago, of course we did kind of all this. We were talking about which segments should we approach, which markets, and all that. But we also defined very clearly what should be the customer profile for us. And if I'm looking now what we have achieved, that is spot on what we were aiming for. So we have flour milling, GoodMills, largest flour milling company in Europe. When we have Gamle Burholt, which is a local company that is doing mobile cleaning, a very entrepreneurial driven company. We have 3,000 customers located in Denmark, in northern part of Germany, and south part of Sweden. And that is actually, as we speak now, in parallel with the GoodMills, we are doing that installation and commissioning now.
And this
very interesting case. And that's also why this is so important, is because they have a very good network, Gamle Burholt, with seed breeders, Copenhagen University, which we are also in very close contact with, and a lot of other people in the industry. So it's actually a very good way to learn more about what we can do with the technology in the future, and also to assess what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and it shows also the variety of what the customers actually demand. So it's not just like every customer buy 2 units, that's it, and then you go along the client. There's really a difference between the orders you received. The latest order you received, you haven't announced the name yet, but that's also an interesting way you sell this machine to the client. Maybe you can update us a little on that, Andreas.
So it's a company. It's actually a multinational company, but they have a big part of their business is in Latin America, and all in Americas actually, and they are the market leader in that segment. In order to assess and to take this forward and to do it in a pretty fast way, we agreed upon a way to do it a rental to purchase. So they will start by renting the equipment, and then after renting period, they have the option to buy the equipment and get a deduction of from the rental fee. They can deduct it on the final selling price. But it's a very good way to actually get going and to speed up the process. A very, very important customer, and that will open up a lot of opportunities for us in the region, but I would say globally, when successful here.
Yeah, and that's really interesting that as of today, you're already with these 3 orders. Got one order, big order from a client in US, or it can lead to a big order, one in pan-Europe, and then you have Gamle Burhold as well in our local market area. So you are in the market already. That's very interesting. There's a financial question here, and I know Andreas is still early days, but that's the normal question you will receive. So how many of these 8 modular machines do you need to sell to go break even?
I don't need to sell that many.
No, because your burn rate is quite low. You already, your technology is in place. You launched. Now it's building the organization. You did that as well.
Yeah. We are talking about if we are fully equipped. I mean, we will break even at the level of 8 to 10 machines.
Yeah, that's really nothing.
Yeah.
If you look into your order flow already.
I mean, we have a great opportunity to make money here.
Yeah.
And as we are, I don't see that we need to build the organization that much or to have more employees just because we are selling more machine. You can say because we are relying quite a lot of suppliers on one side and also on distributors on the other side. So it's one of the things that we have in the pipeline for a year to come, actually to extend our distributor network. And just as we have, when we have built the organization here at BoMill, we are also very, how should I put it, careful making sure that we are choosing the right distributors.
Yeah.
Because they are actually the ones that will talk on behalf of BoMill, and they will also be the ones that is setting our image and building our brand or developing our brand. So it's very important that we are sharing the same values when it comes to doing business.
Yeah, of course. And that's important for a small company.
I would say it's important for all companies.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, another good question here. So as an industrial company, of course, you sell the machines. Down the road, you will probably add the service business. Is that right to say?
It is. I mean, a big part of it will be to sell spare parts.
Yes.
Also to some degree, also to sell upgrades and, I mean, future upgrades. I mean, we know that this technology can do a lot of things. There could be potentially new things that can be done. So you can upgrade the machines, potentially. So yes, and also you can sell expertise in terms of service. Some of that, of course, will be shared with our distributors. Depends on their capabilities to do this as well.
Yeah, and
that's again, it will be one of those. It depends. It will be depending market to market.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andreas. Yes, so With that said, I don't know if there's any more questions coming in from the audience. I don't really have other questions right now. It's really interesting to follow you, Andreas, and a lot of things happened since you were live here last time. I don't think there's other questions coming in. So with that said, Andreas, thanks a lot for great insight into what is going on. And thanks to the audience for the good questions. And with that said, I hope everyone gets a very good day.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.